Well, hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Now, I normally like to kick these things off with some good news or something funny, something a little lighthearted, but today I'm gonna have to go the other direction. The core news item here is the fact that the Supremes denied cert in the case of Wilson versus Hawaii, which is the case where Hawaii openly defied the Bruin precedent in a case regarding their blatantly unconstitutional discriminatory permitting scheme. But the denial of certiorari isn't even really the part I want to focus on today. I want to use this as an example of the pervasive bias we encounter in the media. I know you know it exists, but here's an example. Most outlets report this case using phrasing like SCOTUS rejects challenge or something similar. But a few, like the foreign-owned digital magazine Dev Discourse, reported that the Supreme Court upheld the lower court's ruling in a significant decision. Now, this is not a decision. They did not uphold anything. Newsweek twisted events even further, going out of their way to claim Justice Thomas wants Supreme Court to decide case it doesn't have ability to yet. Now hold up right there, champ. It's called the Supreme Court for a reason. It has jurisdiction. It always has jurisdiction over matters in the United States. That's how things work. What actually happened is that the Supreme Court denied cert because some of the justices want the case to make it a little further along in the process before they step in, and Justices Alito and Thomas disagreed because Hawaii should not be allowed to blatantly defy the United States Supreme Court. The Hawaii Supreme Court rejected Wilson's appeal because they believe the U.S. Constitution and SCOTUS are subordinate to their imaginary spirit of aloha. They claimed Wilson lacked standing because he never applied for a permit. Just as Thomas pointed out, the Constitution may always be used as a defense without any need for standing. That only matters when it's used as a sword in an offensive lawsuit against the state. But hey, it'd be impossible for us to produce quality two-way propaganda without sponsors, so let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by Franklin Armory.
Franklin Armory, those freedom facilitators who brought you twice the pews with their binary firing system, because it's a scientific fact that bad guys with twice as many holes in them are half as dangerous. So in the unfortunate event you should ever need your firearm for defense, remember, it's math. It can't be wrong.
And by Vortex, their new line of Defender Red Dots features a constant on emitter with no flicker and shake awake, so it is always ready. The Defender CCW is impressively compact for daily carry, the ST is a bit larger, and the XL is an absolute beast with one of the largest windows available on a micro red dot. And by TNVC. In case you haven't noticed, it's dark half the time on this planet, so unless you got shiny eyes like Riddick, you're gonna need TNVC so you can keep tabs on Man Bear Pig while he's shooting dice with Wendigos and Skinwalkers in your front yard. The control freaks in Michigan are attempting to revive one of their dumbest old ideas. They're trying to throw people in the struggle cuddle cage just for having the wrong color of gun? SB 1134 would make it a crime to possess a gun if the slide or receiver or more than half of the exterior surface is any color other than black, brown, dark gray, dark green, silver, steel, or nickel. It does make an exception for antique guns and ivory or faux ivory grips, and there is a grandfather provision, because there always is. It also makes it illegal to possess products intended to be used to deceptively color a firearm. For those playing along with the home game, that means color case-hardened guns would be banned. Arguably, the most common finish available on a gun would also be banned, depending on how technical you want to be, because bluing produces, as the name might imply, a blue finish. A very dark blue to be sure, but it's not quite black. Fudds are gonna go ape if this passes, because all of their Realtree shotguns are gonna be banned, theoretically, because they don't look like guns. All of these fine, obviously gun-shaped guns would be banned under the theory that they don't look enough like a gun. Dark green and dark gray are allowed, but light green and light gray are not. I'd love to see lawyers argue about whether a given tone of pigment is objectively light or dark without reference to being lighter or darker than some other reference color. But it doesn't actually matter because the bill is so ridiculously unconstitutional it would die in court faster than a frog on a lava flow. And I would encourage you to call in opposition, but this is revenge from lame duck politicians who are already on their way out. It's probably not going to make it through. And they don't care. So it's not going to change. But that's not the only thing control freaks are trying to ruin on their way out.
Fly, you fools!
Y'all remember that mouth-breathing white supreme pizza who dropped the hard R in a hearing at the Michigan legislature? Well, the bill that ridiculously stupid lad was speaking against was to ban guns in the Capitol building. Well, not all guns, of course. The legislature made sure to exempt themselves from the law that they were passing. But with friends like that, who needs enemies? So unsurprisingly, that bill passed the Senate. Now, I'm not saying we would have stopped the bill without the window licker's help. I'm just saying he took a giant watery dump all over any chances we might have had. Now it goes on to the House, and maybe there's a chance we could stop it. So if you can count past 10 with your boots on and your brother isn't your cousin, please call 517-373-6339 and tell them gun rights are human rights and hassling good people will never stop bad people. Oh, and plastic signs are just not bulletproof. Gun District News! Ruger just dropped a collab with Magpul called the RXM that's somehow massively disruptive and traditional at the same time. It's a polymer-framed, striker-fired pistol You know what? I'm just gonna say it. It's a Glock pattern pistol like a lot of other manufacturers make. And at this point, Gaston's design, peace be upon him, has been so insanely successful that it has attained the mythical status of a nearly standardized modern handgun. If anything, its popularity eclipses Browning's success with the 1911, but it's not just a Glock clone either. The slide and barrel, along with the modular fire control insert, are made by Ruger, while the frame and magazine are made by Magpul. The slide is cut in the RMR pattern, and it has co-witness height tritium irons. Once again, I am not allowed to tell you what the MSRP is, but I could probably get away with saying it is competitive enough it might just make the RXM the new everyman's gun. Bushmaster has announced their brand new Muta 2 silencer, which is additively manufactured from Inconel. It is chambered in 5.56 and it is full auto rated. So far as I can tell, it's named after the Spanish word for a pack of hounds, not a 24-hour pay period for the National Guard, which kind of confused me to begin with. The latter would actually be kind of an odd choice, so I'm glad they went with the former. And Colt is re-releasing their classic Cobra snub-nosed 38, but they have added a few nice features like a fiber optic sight. It also has a shrouded ejector rod, which increases weight a little bit. Some purists may lament that it's not suitable for cosplaying as a hard-boiled private dick in a city with no sympathy for the weak. And admittedly, it does stray a bit from the original philosophy of being a very lightweight carry piece. What do you guys think? Smart move for Colt? Would you buy one? And now, for your moment of zen.
Uh-oh, camera fell over.
Hey friend, do you like pews and pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you American pew at the low, low price of $3.99? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you. It might just make the RXM the new everyman's gun. I still say they should have called it the Gluger.